Welcome to episode 94, Results-Oriented Scheduling. Hey, y'all! With the holiday season all around us and the year end approaching, I thought I'd share a calendaring technique I use and often recommend to clients. If you're someone who finds yourself regularly overcommitted or unsure of exactly when something will get done, being more precise with your calendaring blocks is an exercise you may want to experiment with. This episode will be short and to the point because it's much more action oriented than self reflective. Time management is task management. Time is passing every moment, whether you're engaged in specific targeted activity, engaged in waiting, or engaged in resting. Lots of inner drama and self judgment can arise when you look back at your day or your week and judge it as not productive enough. And it's important to recognize that this universally common voice is often just plain wrong. You're always doing what makes sense to your inner self at any given time, even if that's actively avoiding a task that you don't want to do or engaging in busy work because resting feels uncomfortable. Time management is task management, which is ultimately emotional management and regulation. You're always getting things done. The more nuanced challenge is making sure you're tackling the right activities for the moment instead of letting your mood or level of motivation dictate your day. Limiting your list of tasks to time sensitive or priority based activities is the first step towards thwarting this inner drama and self judgment. Knowing what needs to be done versus just nice to dos is a skill in and of itself and takes trial, error, and consequences. This is where capturing your ideas, then dividing them into categories, plays an important role. The list of essential items for the day or week should be just that, an essential list of 1 to 3 things maximum per day. I go into this topic much more detail in episode 75, Getting Things Done. Intentionally planning your blocks of time with generous amounts of transition and buffer time is the second step. Not blocking off time in between activities is a common misstep that leads to anxiety, frustration, and that familiar voice of irritation. I've covered this in previous episodes as well, which leads me to today's solution: proactively defining what you'll get done in each specific block. It's a way of nailing down and committing to the results you want for this specific week. It's a way of creating a familiar sense of predictability, clarity, and purpose. And Although it might feel a little bit bumpy at first, it will ultimately help you feel more productive. By outlining what you'll accomplish and scheduling when you'll accomplish it, you'll be setting yourself up for a level of success that's attainable. Episode 34, The Power of Done, goes into the tremendous rewards of leaning into what you did complete rather than being absorbed by your brain's tendency toward negativity bias or what was left undone. So, what do I mean by results oriented scheduling? Just like defining the scope of an organizing project and defining your end goal with a specific project, results oriented scheduling is defining for yourself what you'll complete in the block of time in a measurable way. It's calendaring pre work. For example, you may have each week 4 blocks of time on your schedule for exercise or movement. Standard scheduling may have you labeling that time as exercise or gym. This generic labeling leaves lots to interpretation. Basically, it gives your brain wiggle room. It's a subtle way of telling yourself that this block is broad in scope. Without a clearly defined outcome, you're less likely to commit to making it happen and may occasionally need to lean on willpower or motivation to get moving. And you're leaving the door open to skip it altogether. Narrow those 4 blocks down to be as specific and results oriented as possible. Walk 4 miles in 50 minutes with 5 minutes of stretching warm up and stretching cool down is more accurate. Upper body lifting with dumbbells for 15 minutes plus 15 minutes of foam rolling on the lower body is clearer. Again, it gives your brain something tangible to anchor onto. You've decided in advance what task you'll accomplish and what time you'll accomplish it. When I'm working with clients, I often encourage them to take it one step further and tie that result to their why. Perhaps your goal is keeping dementia at bay, like me. Perhaps it's to fit into your favorite dress. Perhaps you move on a weekly basis in order to eat cake and prevent a heart attack. Your why is your own, and that can go into the calendar block label on your schedule. For example, from noon to 12:30 on weekdays, the label reads, brisk walk for 6 loops around the block to keep IBS symptoms in check. It's clear, it's purposeful, it's results oriented. This approach is especially meaningful during the holiday season as the calendar gets full quickly. Remember, a scheduling block can be a portion of a task too. Keep it results focused either way. One block can be review budget and set gift limits for the 12 people I'm buying for. Another can be select recipes for the 3 dishes I'm making create a shopping list, and share it with my partner who will own grocery shop. From the Fair Play Method's point of view, it's a way of creating explicitly defined expectations for yourself and others. Your calendar is simply the vehicle for recording them. With this practice, you'll soon see whether you have enough time available for the tasks on your list. It's possible that your calendar will show you that managing and limiting your task list is the best path to feeling successful, not managing your time. You can't change the amount of time allotted, but you can change your expectations of yourself and others. Results-oriented scheduling works. If you're running a small business or an employee, you can define exactly what portion of a project you'll create when. It creates a mission or a purpose for each block. Over time, it will help you better realistically engage how long tasks take you and whether you over or underestimate what you can accomplish in a given set of hours. You then can acknowledge your inner self-judgment around your productivity and kindly set it to the side. Your automatic, unintentional response that says, you should have accomplished more, is off base because you have data that tells you what results you did create and exactly how long it took you to create them. I hope this is helpful. Again, it's a technique to move you out of overwhelm and more into a space of what's realistically possible for any one day, 1 week, or one holiday season. You're more organized than you think. You're in control of your time, your tasks, and your wins. It's natural to overload your calendar, yet you have the ability to step away from that habit by clarifying for yourself what specifically you'll do when. You have the ability to add sufficient transition and buffer time in between to lower and limit your stress response. You have the ability to rewire your brain to celebrate all that you did accomplish, including downtime. Many tasks have more steps and take more minutes than we estimate. Our society has overstretched the term productivity, which is leading to the deep exhaustion most folks are feeling. Defining for yourself a handful of mini goals or results retrains and right sizes your expectations 1 hour at a time. Talk to y'all soon.